And if it's a really small with one of those maps that have the small at the end of it, it'll only spawn at one place. But it'll spawn facing a different direction on one of the smaller maps. Or like have a different, the house will have a different angle to it. Yeah, I've played Multiverse. It's 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 alright. The game looks alright, but it's extremely difficult to figure out the fucking comboing of it. Whereas with Smash Bros, it's fairly easy to do combos. No, it's not like, it's nothing like Super Smash Bros is, but it doesn't have, you know, the charm and the brilliance of Smash Bros that Smash Bros has. It's kind of what it's kind of like, you know, how Overwatch copied exactly what Team Fortress 2 did years before, and what Team Fortress 2 did better, but fucking Overwatch did shittier during its first years of being released, during its first few years of release. Before it got a bunch of updates and a bunch of characters added and shit. I don't know. What, that are free and that are multiplayer? On the free list, I'm not so sure. On the subscription list, I don't know. I haven't checked. Oh my fucking god. Why is nobody joining? Like, fuck's sake. Yeah, I haven't checked. Hmm. Jesus fucking Christ. Dude, I tried playing this game fucking earlier, but I literally joined a fucking match, nobody in it, just me. Like, fuck. In hell. Not surprising, it is a fucking dead game. The player base basically is... The player base for this game are going over to the fucking Evil Dead game that is, oddly enough, made by one of the exact same studios that made this game. Not Gun Media, the other one that helped make the game. And Gun Media didn't develop the game. They just worked on the design for the maps and the soundtrack and the music for the game. Like, honestly, it's a fucking surprised me when I first heard it. I was like, are you serious? Evil Dead is made by the same guys that made the same studio that made fucking Friday the 13th. A game they lost the rights to. And somehow they're able to get the rights to be able to make an Evil Dead game? Are you shitting me? Because guess who owns the rights to this game? Fucking WB. Warner Brothers Studio now owns this game. And with them owning the rights to this game, did they bother, I don't know, updating the game, adding new shit to the game? No. Why? Because Warner Brothers isn't a fucking gaming studio. They don't develop games. They make movies and TV shows. So why the fuck would they want to take the rights back when they're not making any more Friday the 13th movies? The last one was in 2010 and that movie was fucking gobshite. And I would know, I fucking watched it. Like, honestly, the design of Jason was fucking cool and all. And Kane Hodder coming back to play as Jason in that movie was fucking nostalgia above all. But the movie absolutely flopped. One reason, it was in association with fucking Sony. I bet you can think of the main reason why Sony would not be a good choice for that. Because one, Sony doesn't make horror movies. Never have. They have never actually gotten one of their directors to make a fucking horror movie. All they've done is the sound work for horror movies. That's all they've done. They've never actually developed a movie themselves until that fucking one movie that flopped. And also Slender Man, which also flopped the day it came out. Reason? Slender Man flopped? Because they cut a lot of scenes out. And made it so that the movie was a fucking PG rating. When originally it was going to be an MA rating. Like, what the fuck? Like, I swear, man, I bet you, you know you know, I'll tell you a studio that would have done a way better job at making a Slender Man movie. Fucking Capcom. Because they make horror games. They've been making horror games for like, what, 25 years now or some shit? And they've been involved with other studios that make horror games for like the last 25 years. Also, same with same with FNAF Security Breach. If Capcom were the ones that made that game, it would have been a lot better, and it actually would have been fucking scary. There'd be no pussyfooting around with jump scares that are fucking lame, and a story that barely exists, and a character that was shown a lot in the show art and the trailers of the game and the screenshots for the game, and yet in the game she only appears like what, 3 fucking times. Literally everybody that played the game was like, where the fuck is Vanny? She's in the trailers, she's in all of the trailers, all of the marketing screenshots and shit, yet she's fuck all in the game. They also changed the way Vanessa worked. Originally, she was gonna help Gregory during the first phase of the game, and then eventually, you know, she might have kaput and started chasing after us with fucking William Afton taking back control of her. But yet, what did they do? They changed the game. They kept on changing the way the game was, like 6 months before release. And now look at it. It's fucking shit. Although it may be shit, it did pretty well in sales, but all of those gamers were like, I wish I didn't buy this boring piece of shit. This all over the place piece of shit. Buggy, mess, broken ass, unfinished game. Because that's how it played for most people that played it. It was a buggy, it was a fucking buggy, unfinished mess. It was like you were playing like a game that was only 60% done. Or like in Security Breach's case, 40% done. It's like you're playing the fucking beta of the game. Also, that's why Hello Neighbor, when it fully released, fucking flopped. Because it was still a buggy fucking mess. And broken as all hell. The only reason they are able to make a second one was because they brought out hide and seek, a fucking hide and seek game multiplayer mode of Hello Neighbor, and that did considerably well, enough for them to get money so they could make a second game instead of, I don't know, fixing the first fucking game. But no, they're like, oh, our first game was shit, but we got money to make a second game. We won't even bother about fixing the first game. Fucking morons. Yes, it was fun to watch, but not fun to play yourself. Because I played it when it was in fucking alpha. It went from 3 betas to fucking 2 alphas. And I played Alpha 2. And the game was fucking dreadful. I had lag spikes everywhere. The game didn't run well at all. Then again, I was playing it on my Lenovo laptop. But still, even when I turned down the graphics settings and all of that to like medium or low, the game would still run like shit. And I was literally like, when this full game comes out, I ain't fucking playing it. I ain't even gonna consider buying it. Because that's how dreadful my experience with playing the Alpha 2 was. It was so dreadful that back then I That game made me want to become an alcoholic. Now Rust makes me want to become an alcoholic. Evil Dead is pretty good. Even though it's still fucking beta. You can only play the beta if you have a code. The full game doesn't fucking release. The fucking full game doesn't release. The full game of Evil Dead, get this. The full game has been fully released on PC, but not fucking console. Try and figure out how that shit makes sense. Trust me, Moose, you won't be able to make sense of that shit. Because it doesn't make fucking sense. Had they fully released the game... Had they fully released the game on PC, but not on console. It releases next month, apparently, but it said it was going to release in July this year on console, delayed. Then it said September, delayed. October 12th, delayed. Delayed back to, get this, November 14th. Oh, I smell a bunch of sus shit going on over in on the studio that's making the console version. That's developing it for console. Because it's not even the same fucking team that made the PC. It's a different part of the studio that's in a different state. Or, well, a different city in the same state. But in a different city. It's not even the same guys. Same team and same studio. Like, what is that? You can't develop the PC port and the console port at the same time. Just use two separate teams in the same fucking studio. Ha ha! And I bet you if you go to the fucking list, go to the lists on Google to see how many people on PlayStation play Hello Neighbor, I bet you the total is only 5. 5 motherfuckers that saw the game just because of the artwork and thought, it's a hide and seek puzzle survival game. A hide and seek puzzle game. Cool. Let's have a look at this. Play it, realize it's utter garbage, and regret fucking purchasing it and asking for a refund, but never get a refund. Because PlayStation isn't known for, giving you refunds. Like Google is. Like Google Play. No, it isn't. It's only single player. Have you got Resident Evil 8? The Division? Yeah, the Division is multiplayer. It's mandatory that you play with friends on the Division. Have you got Resident Evil 8? Because Resident Evil 8 is getting a Mercenaries mode, and I know that in previous games, Mercenary mode has had local co-op or whatever, or online co-op. No, I purchased Resident Evil 8's Ultimate Pack. on PS5 and whatever, like a long time ago. Like I basically purchased Resident Evil 8 like 2 days after it released. Actually, wait, no, I didn't. Not 2 days. I purchased fucking Resident Evil 8 like a week or so after it was released. And also, the campaign for Resident Evil 8, when the new DLCs come out, when the new game modes and DLCs come out, it's getting a third-person mode. The main campaign is getting a third-person mode. And so is the DLC. Shadows of Rose or whatever. Now we'll finally be able to see Ethan Winters' face! Unless they, you know, blacked it out, which they probably will. Like in all of the other screenshots that we've, or game art for it that have featured Ethan Winters since like Resident Evil 7, they've always blacked out his face. Like, I understand why they do that, is so players would be, you know, immersed with the character and make them feel like they're Ethan Winters. Which is cool and all, but meh. Yeah, true. Only to extent is it good. Like, there's even an actual model in Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8 for Ethan Winters. Face still blacked out. Which honestly doesn't make sense. How the fuck can you black out something on a 3D model? And how can you black out an in-game model? That doesn't make sense to me. It would take a lot more effort to do that than just to black out, you know, a screenshot. Black out a part of a screenshot, you know? So yeah, hopefully they'll do the right thing, and when the fucking third person mode comes out for the campaign, they won't black out Ethan Winters' face and actually let us see what the fuck it looks like. Please, Capcom, that's all we've been asking since Resident Evil 7. Show us his face, he deserves it. Like, honestly, I don't notice, but I think it's true that people love fucking Ethan Winters way more than they do Ada Wong, Claire, or Leon. Which honestly doesn't make sense. How the fuck could you not love Leon or Claire more than anything else? Or Jill. Jill is definitely a front runner for most beloved characters in a video game. In a horror franchise. Oh man. Honestly, If I'm being completely honest, I prefer Claire, then Jill. I prefer Sherry, then Claire, then Jill. I prefer Sherry. I like Sherry way fucking more than any of the other characters. Cause she was a fucking she was a fucking kid. She was a kid in the second game. A frightened kid and shit with no defense, and ended up turning into a fucking badass in the 6th game. Oh, and also another thing, you know, because you played Resident Evil 2, the original, right? The ending for that doesn't make sense with the panel and shit. So many people don't like how that panel is shown, is presented. They really don't like it. I tell you, more players that played the original preferred the remake's ending way fucking more. Because in the original, at the end, Claire just fucking abandons Sherry and leaves her with Leon. Which doesn't make fucking sense in a plot fucking driven thing. Because you spend the whole time, if you play as Claire, bonding with Sherry for like the 8 hours of the original game that it was, because the original game was like 8 hours long. 10 hours long with all the collectibles and all of that the original had. And all of the random events and all of that, the special events that it had. You spend all of that time bonding with Sherry as Claire for it just to abandon Sherry at the end of the game. At the end of the original game. Now that shit doesn't make sense. And that seriously pained a lot of players. When they fucking got that end, when they got the ending for the original game, they literally felt like someone was trying to rip out their fucking heart. And seriously, a lot of players that played the original that I've seen play the remake say that the remake's fucking ending is 10 times or 20 times better than the fucking original ending. And they literally said, when I played the original and got and saw the original ending, it was like somebody stabbed me in the heart. That's what they said. That's what a lot of them said. And I fucking agree with them, because I've watched videos of someone, you know, explaining the ending of the original game. Of the original Resident Evil 2. And even he says in the video, in his own video, that the ending for the original doesn't make sense at all. He even calls it out for saying that calls out the game for not making sense with the ending. And that he also said that he prefers the ending of the remake way more than the fucking shitty, heartbreaking ending of the original. Oh, and sure. Fuck yeah, I can try Dead by Daylight, but I'm gonna have to fucking re-download it again. Have you got Black Ops 4? Because I was down in the middle of downloading Black Ops 4. For, you know, zombies and whatever. Alright guys, this is going to be the end of the stream. As always, subscribe for more if you're new. Hit that notification bell and set it to all so you'll be notified when all of my streams and videos are up and live. Peace out.